Hey everyone, Rolls, and I'm back, and we're gonna try this a second time. I love Audacity normally, but like, if there's a hiccup and it stops, then it's just like there was 5 minutes. I just kept going without knowing it. But I can do that little window and window thing, and I'm just gonna watch it as I record from now on to make sure. Anyway, like I was saying in the last episode, the production with Kojima and his team and Konami is interesting because the new head of Konami that took over one of the families, somehow Konami is taken from their surname, but I forget what it is, so I'm not going to make myself look like an idiot and try to say it. They weren't as on board with the big money sinks that Kojima asks to produce his games, because these are probably really expensive to make, but they're worth it because they bring in the money. But anyway, so that was caused the drama between Konami and Kojima over completing MGS5 #1 and over PT, why that wasn't ever a thing. I think that's the reasoning. Let me adjust this so I can sit here. Perfect. Let me kill that. I can do without the fan if I'm gonna set the mic right here. Sorry if it was picking up when I set the mic back up on the table, because I was tired of leaning back and holding it. But anyway, each of the Beast's boss fights have this moment where they kind of follow you around. I think if they take hold of you, they suck your energy. Very like succubus-y, the Sorrow boss fight from 3 type vibes going on there. But I think it's just to show off the female forms they model a little bit more. Like that gratuitous ass shot on the floor back there. And it's funny because, like, on one hand, you have sort of the shameless camera angles going on. Then on the other hand, like, we're about to get a Kodak call from Drebin telling us the horrible, horrible backstory of this woman. Like, all the crazy shit she had to do. Like, all of these bosses, the Beauty and the Beast unit, are very much like dragged through the ringer of trauma. But the face camo is the item we get. I believe that scene, I'm going to use that as the thumbnail.
It utilizes the same kind of technology as your Octo Camo suit. Using the two together can get you...
Like Drebin's logo.
I'd hang on to it if I was you. Doesn't fit. It's not my size or shape. Yeah. Looks like it could use a bit of tailoring before you can sport it.
Let's see.
Ain't you got a buddy who specializes in that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's... Otacon could probably do that.
Somebody's done their homework. Hey, here's my job. Is that the real reason you injected me with those nano?
At least Snake's like kind of quick on the uptake with the whole nano machine thing this time. I guess it's kind of like a fool me twice, shame on me kind of situation going on.
Then what did you mix a virus in with the nanomachines for? Virus? A certain virus?
Yeah, see, he's like, hey, did you give me a virus? I got that before.
Look, you do know there are other folks who could have done this to you. And besides,
but Drebin's argument's pretty valid. He's like, no, why would I inject you with a virus? Like, you're using my weapons.
you're a real piece of work.
You're making me money, Snake.
Man who could take down Laughing Octopus single-handedly. She just kept on laughing. Now why do you
Okay, here's the story.
something in her past? You got it. She's from a village in Scandinavia.
The Devil's Village. Well, that's a very unfortunate name. Take it away, Drevin.
Octopus. See, this was one of the few places in Europe where they ate octopus customarily. Anyway, there's this cult of crazies who for some reason hate the village with a passion. Then, when she was just a teenager, things get bad. These nutcases get their hands on some weapons and attack the village. Overnight, her sleepy little fishing town becomes a war zone. They round up all the villagers and execute them one by one. Except for that girl. They had something else planned for her. Something a whole lot worse than dying. Calling
I forgot she was supposed to be from Scandinavia.
from one of Lucifer's own.
Like, why don't you just start listening to black metal? No, they made her into a little psychopathic war machine, killing friends and families. And like, hey, you better laugh while we do it. Normally, when when I first saw that line initially, that's the word I was looking for. When they're like, oh, they wanted to keep her alive and do worse things to her than kill her. I was like, oh, great. We're going to talk about grape in MGS4. Grape without the G. Not a fan of that. But, you know. Dare I say, killing the whole village while laughing is a little more of a tasteful approach. But I'm sure, you know, that could be implied too. You got no room for that stuff in your world. Like he's basically saying, like, Snake, I know you don't have time to try to understand the psychology of your enemies. That's not really a Snake thing anyway. He never really gave too much psychoanalysis to the crazy people that make up the boss squads he's fought. He's just like, yeah, they're nuts, and we're going to take care of them. He understands where some of them are coming from, but he doesn't have any empathy for them, I guess. And I don't really mind this, because there's never been a boss battle where it's like, okay, now we're done with the mission, you know, like, in any of the games, you just kind of keep going after a boss fight. It's just part of the timeline or the events, you know. So like to go back to this tracking segment that's about to happen isn't like unexpected at all, but it's just to slow down from a boss fight basically from the time you get to the zone where they break down the gate. You're fighting pretty up front while sneaking with those mansion guards, and you know, then you get to the whole Naomi scene, and then the I keep calling them the frog unit. Those troopers that are often with the boss. And then it's like, oh, okay, now track footprints. Slow it down. It just feels the most jarring here, I think, is what my point is.
Snake, have you lost sight of the target? Whenever something moves, it leaves a trail behind. Track and find Naomi's trail. I'm not like Big Boss. Tracking isn't my strongest suit. When did you get so good at it?
I suppose that was a shout out to MGS3 about tracking.
Taught me some scouting techniques. Drifted. You never went back to see Rose.
Of course he didn't, Snake.
Rose. She doesn't exist. No. Rose and I live in different worlds.
I live in a different world. We can't see each other.
My place.
Normally it would be a very like emo song lyric, what he just said there, but it's actually kind of true.
There are two fundamentals.
Being a child soldier turned government killer turned rogue
Leading a trail by paper
man of justice is kind of its own world.
means to follow that trail. Your target's trail could be footprints, a branch they broke along the way, bent grass trampled underfoot. You need to feel for
And I think if they had,
sound, smell,
like the engine from 5
motion of the wind.
for tracking
Watch
this segment, it could have been
listen for unusual
like a really cool thing. Like there could have been a lot of little things to take notice of, but normally I didn't. I just followed footprints,
like a ninja.
I think.
Exactly. Ninja are the ultimate scouts. If your enemy is
Ninjas are the ultimate scout. Okay, if you say so.
you may be the hunter, but you are also the hunted.
I mean, I guess I can see it, but
Move slowly, little by little. Don't disturb the air around you.
don't disturb the air. Okay, how do I do that?
Doing the same, trying to sneak up on you without a sound. If you can't pick up the trail with your naked eye,
See,
switch the
all you had to do was say switch to solid eye, and
enable you to see Naomi's footprints.
that's it.
Any enemies lying in ambush. Switch the solid eye to infrared. Got it. But the sound it makes while engaged could end up giving your position away. So don't leave it on for too long. All right. Listen to your heart. Trust your senses as much as you can. And you will find Naomi's trail.
Right.
I'll give it a shot.
Snake, follow Naomi's trail and find out where they took her. Watch out, though. You might run into a few holdups along the way.
I think there are some branches with like this path where like one of them just kind of goes off. I think those are like supposed to be guards that are breaking their normal escort to fan out a little bit. See, there's the trampled grass. So there is a little bit of environmental
Closely at the footprints.
tells you can see here. Let's see what we're doing here. Shut up, bird. It's such a nice day, though. I had to open the windows, you know. The best part is I got everything I need to have done. I mean, recording isn't like a pressing need. But I got all the stuff I need to, which was just a few trips to the store and to pick up some cards from my buddy Joe, who has his own channel now.
Looks like they split up here.
Team Dark Magic Attack. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! We're playing a little bit yesterday on his birthday, too. Just a match, but my Plunder Patrol deck was fun. Starting to get the hang of it more.
You think that could be Naomi's?
But that's not this. This is Metal Gear. This isn't a card game, a children's card game. Right. It is nice that you can have segments where, like, the trampled grass lets you turn off the solid eye even for a couple seconds to just stop charging the battery and maybe let it rest up a little bit. Yeah, that's the way, I think. So, like, yeah, the water killed the footprints, but then you get more. I would say don't.
That's weird. Naomi's shoe prints just vanish. But just hers. minute. It's the solid eye. The sound is giving your position away. Take cover, Snake.
Nice catch, at least. That could have been way worse. Could have had a whole alert situation going on there. Stop making noise. Just finish this episode, please. Alright. Trying to be a little cautious now. It's just... This game did a really good job, and it continues in the next two. Like, enemies are actually kind of hard to find sometimes. Again, one of those things you didn't realize how, like, easy we had it in the first 3 games with that. Well, the first 2 especially. But it's like... Yeah. Have fun finding brown on brown.